I've been sent this today by Unions Together, and it's a list of Tory MPs who voted to water down workplace rights and health and safety standards after Brexit. So before I play you this list, I'd just like to give an example, okay, of how British people's workplace rights and health and safety standards were already completely shattered and abolished, actually, long before Brexit. So, you know, I'll give you an example of one person that I know who's working on 0-hour contracts, which are just everywhere now, no matter where you work. This person's working in the care industry, as it now is, privatised industry that basically feeds vampires off public funds that are made available to provide such services, and that were used to be paid to councils who took control of providing care homes and carers and things like that through the NHS for people. Okay, no, that's all gone now. It's all been handed over to a host of corporation quangos. When you look at them, you find a bulk of them are all managed by one single individual director, and that they are all actually subsidiaries of another global corporation that itself is a subsidiary of another global corporation, and it is just abominable. And the workers are actually paid only a fraction of what those corporations receive in public funding to actually provide the service that they're being paid for to provide. So let's just look at a situation of somebody who's been duped into signing the 0-hour contract to do this care work that specifically for this person involves giving medication and injections and doing blood tests and things like that. Okay, I think it's just injections and like medications. So they're expected to be at the first person's on their list. They're expected to be at their home at 7 o'clock in the morning, and then they've got about 20 minutes, 15 minutes to half an hour at that place, depending on what they need to do there that particular day. And then they've got another 15 to 20 minutes on average to walk from one person on the list to the next person on the list. And then at about 2:30, 3 o'clock, they get a 2.5 hour break. And so this person actually lives, it's an hour's travel on the bus from their home to the place where they've got to start work at. Because when you sign up to this organisation to do this work, you don't get to choose which area you're going to be working in. Okay, you just get given a particular area. So yeah, it might entail an hour's travelling about on buses to get there. So you get this 2.5 hour break after working from 7 o'clock till 2:30, 3 o'clock in the afternoon. You spend an hour getting back home, you have a quick cup of sandwich, bang, you're back on a bus again, back to your next thing, and then you're working solid until 10:30, 11 o'clock at night. And then it takes you another hour to get back home, sometimes longer because there's less buses at that time. And so, you know, you get home around 12 o'clock, and then you've got an hour to you know, have something to eat, chill out a bit, and then you've got to be in bed, and you've got 4 hours sleep because you've got to be up at 5 to spend an hour getting ready, breakfast, doing, you know, showering, all these things, get out to the bus, another hour travel across to your workplace to be there at 7 o'clock. And after the first 3 days, when this person first started this job, after the first 3 days, after they'd done 3 19 hours days, of which they're only paid for 8 hours work on each day, because they don't count all the travelling about and the amount of time it takes to get from one place to another. That is not counted. What is counted is the actual time you spend in the person's home that you're caring for. Okay. That is what they get. When you look at their wages, which over the course of a year are less than £20,000, what you're looking at is these people are working for about £35 a week more than they'd get if they were on JSA. And by the time you've took away the tenner a week it costs for the weekly bus pass, because, you know, by the time you've took the rent that they have to pay and the council tax and the basic domestic bills, not including food, just, you know, your gas, electric, phone, okay, by the time you took that all that away, that person has in their pocket about £100 a week, of which 10 to 15, even £20 is going to go on transport. Because sometimes this person's so tired, by 11 o'clock at night they have to get a taxi home, and that costs about 8-10 quid from where they're working. So, you know, and they're on just above minimum wage. So they're basically working for an extra, what, 10 quid a week. Well, for basically 10 quid a week, 10 quid a day in their pocket to spend. That's what they have, £10 to buy the clothes, you know. And don't forget, if they get a dental problem, then they've got to pay for their dental treatment. If they get ill, they've got to pay for their prescriptions. That to me, that is slavery. It is absolute slavery. It is absolutely in total. Basically everything that men like my grandfather literally laid down their lives for, to give the children of Britain a future worth living, right? That he's been trashed. You know, my granddad, he's been thrown in the bin. They've drank his blood, said thank you very much, right, fuck off, spit on his grave. Right, that is what they've done. That's what they've done to people like my grandmother, who was a nurse, an NHS nurse, who worked on the front lines nursing. Right, that is everything that our forebears and ancestors have suffered to the point that we did establish our rights in Britain, and we did achieve our workers' rights, the unions, everything, all gone, back to Victorian Britain. And I even know some people who are on these 0-hour contracts who suddenly get told they're not allowed, oh, we don't need you for the next few days, and they've got no money, they're left with no money, and they have to actually go and queue up outside food banks. That's what they're spending their leisure time doing, queuing up outside a food bank. I mean, how dare even a nation tolerate that? Is beyond my comprehension, that British people would tolerate that. And that's before Brexit. That's before Brexit. And oh, they want to water down their health and safety even more. Imagine putting people at risk. You're supposed to be providing care, and you're actually putting the people you're providing care for at risk by the very fact that you're exploiting the workers so badly that you've got people who are perhaps have had less than fucking 4 hours sleep a night giving out medications to people. Oh, and who will be responsible if that person's so tired they give somebody the wrong medication and somebody gets really ill or even dies? Oh, who's going to carry that on their conscience? Not the quango, no, the individual worker. Yeah, they not only get to live on a slave wage, okay, and actually don't receive any of the benefits that people on benefits actually receive. What? And they take the liability as well. They take the liability. And, you know, because it's the corporations, isn't it, that are screwing us. They're the ones that are screwing people. Not the immigrants, you know. To witness Britain, given 2 months to make such a serious decision that 3 years later Parliament still hasn't, you know, Parliament in the EU is still hashing it out. You didn't think, you weren't paying attention. You're not paying attention, people of Britain. You're just not. You're following the gutter press, the BBC, and your stupid, spokespeople of hate. Everybody's, oh, the injustice of what's happened to Tommy Robinson. We're talking about a man who stands with people who call children little snakes, and actually their government ministers call for killing their mothers to stop them from breeding more little snakes. That's who Tommy Robinson stands with, and the whole nation is filling my Facebook and sending me fucking emails on his behalf. Oh, poor Tommy Robinson. No, poor the carers of Britain who are being screwed by vampires. Poor the people they have to care for who are getting a substandard service from overworked, underpaid staff and who are put at risk. You know, it's about time the people of this country started paying attention to the angels of our land who do the work, who receive none of the praise, who receive shite. They're the ones that are suffering the injustice, not the Tommy Robinsons of this world going around spreading the hatred. The hatred that apparently delivered us Brexit. For what? Oh, so we're free now. We're free from the EU. You know, I'm not saying the EU isn't corrupt as hell like everything else on this evil planet right now that is governed by such evil people that makes it an evil planet. Okay, no, now we're out of Brexit. Oh yes, we can all enjoy Monsanto's cancer-causing products too. And I've written this really sarcastic comment above this post. Yes, the lowest form of wit for the lowest form of intelligence that obviously is operating in Britain right now. Because the EU, it's not only banned Monsanto's products, okay, it's actually banned Monsanto from lobbying the EU Parliament. They are literally out of Europe. Oh, but Britain will let them in because, you know, Britain's going to be, as Parliament, Theresa May said, we're going to set up trade deals, food trade deals with America. We will now all be feeding our children Monsanto shite too. And, you know, like I said quite sarcastically here, thank goodness British people have opted for hate against immigrants before love for our children's health and safety. Because, you know, what is all this shite about immigrants? Alright, so a load of immigrants have come into Britain. We've got, suddenly our workforce, our work power has increased by how many million? Many hands make light work. Our nation, we should be rich. We should be, oh yeah, have more leisure time. Because we've got so many people to do the jobs. It should be a benefit for us. But no. Because the bulk is then exploited to drive down wages, to give fewer jobs, to make people do even more work, to make fewer people do even more work. To actually then even use their spending power to control Parliament. To the degree that, oh, suddenly the 0-hour contract is acceptable in Britain. Victorian Britain, back to Victorian Britain. That is where we are. That is what the 0-hour contract is, you know. And the absolute ridiculousness of it is that people are asked to literally sign away their rights. How stupid have they got people that you people who apparently voted Brexit, you know, are quite prepared to sign away your rights to work for less than you would be receiving on job seekers allowance? Because like I say, don't forget these people who are working to have 10 quid a day in the pocket to spend, right? Oh, they have to pay for their dental care, don't they? Like I say, they've got to pay for their prescriptions. So, you know, don't get toothache if you can't afford it. So, you know, what has Brexit delivered? So, let's have a look at the pound. Straight away, immediately after Brexit, that's it, the pound was slashed. So, immediately, workforce, imagine 20p gone off the pound like that. So the pound suddenly is worth 20p less. So how much did Brexit steal out of your pockets overnight, people of Britain? How much? 20p out of every pound you earn. Gone gone? Where did it go? Because you're so worried about immigrants. Think about that 20p in every pound in every British person's pocket and add it all up and see how much money it would have made for the NHS. Oh, but the NHS, apparently, which was going to get £315 million a week extra from Brexit, the lie, okay? Because no, actually, it's going to be robbed of £315 million a week because we can no longer benefit from the very heavily subsidised medicines that our NHS is able to buy through the EU. But now we're not part of that market. Well, we're a very, very small market, and we all know how corporate capitalism works, don't we? Bulk buy, you get it all a lot cheaper. Well, Britain's not going to be able to bulk buy on the level that the EU can. So our medicines are going to skyrocket. So that's even less money for the NHS. And we find out that, yes, everybody voted on the strength of information and manipulations and shenanigans by the likes of Cambridge Analytica, who actually have corporate connections to military corporations that do employ PSYOP strategies of control. So, you know, who are these Tory MPs? These are the people, right, the monsters ruling our country. In fact, they're so far removed from our humanity, they might as well be aliens from another planet, okay? They are so disconnected. And all these people of Britain who are there ready to hate, you hate the Muslims and hate the immigrants and, oh, let's have Britain back again. Okay, you've actually got more in common with your Muslim neighbour and your immigrant neighbour than you have with any of this filth, right, that is governing our nation right now. You've got more in common with them. And like I say, the very fact that a larger workforce spells doom in terms of jobs and employment and things like this, no, that isn't. Why are we working if not for our benefit as well? We're not here like donkeys just to provide a living for a set of vampires, corporate global vampires, whose profits aren't even spent in Britain. At least when an immigrant earns their wages, they're spending it largely in Britain. Yeah, alright, some of them send some home for their families. So what? They're working for Britain, aren't they? They're doing jobs for the British people. So that is where we are at. That is where we are at as a nation. You know, we have been persuaded to literally shoot ourselves in the foot. She was the first vampire to actually get power enough to just literally destroy Britain, the people of Britain's political voice. Because once the unions were gone, the miners, the steel workers, that's what it was about. It was just about denying their political clout and their collective political power, because Britain has no voice. In fact, Israel has a greater voice in Parliament than the British people, and that is the absolute fact and truth of it. And again, you know, we're left with the hypocrisy of a Parliament that actually tolerates the Zionist Israel lobby when you're talking about the atrocities that they are collectively committing against the Palestinian people, and that even their government ministers call Palestinian children little snakes and demand that Palestinian mothers are killed to stop them from breeding more little snakes. That how dare any member of Parliament look themselves in the face in the mirror and call themselves a human being? And like I say, instead, you know, the whole nation's up in arms, apparently, okay, about Tommy Robinson, who's had so much injustice done to him. But what about all the injustice, like I say, that the workers are suffering right now? What about the injustice that our children are suffering, who've got no rights? Because, you know, apparently There's barely a nation in the EU will establish those EU child protection directives. They all want to skirt around them, keep the issue quiet, because they're all protecting the top paedophiles, like this cow, evil cow did, okay? Iron Lady, sorry, no, I'm an Iron Lady. You are a piece of shite and filth, Margaret Thatcher, and may you long rest in hell, wherever you are. She wasn't an Iron Lady, right? She's got so little iron in her soul. It is a wonder she even managed to fucking stand upright. And that's just it. These people have nothing except the power of their filthy money. That's it. That's what gives them their voice. And people like me, I can be ignored because I haven't got no money. Okay, I haven't got money. I'm not a professional. I'm not a credible person in this world. You know, if I went to the police and like reported crimes against somebody, pop star, child abuser, Ian Watkins, you know, explaining that he's raping babies and giving them evidence, I can be just brushed aside because I'm not a credible witness. No, sorry, we can't look at the evidence. We're not qualified and you're not credible. Go away. Yeah. But, you know, the Margaret Thatchers of this world, oh, every word she utters is of immense importance, isn't it? She gets to control our nation. She gets to dictate our children's future. And she has dictated it because we are living her legacy right now. Well, it's about time we told her and her Victorian, antiquated, shite legacy to fuck off and kick them out. Because people of Britain, do not call yourself a parent. Do not call yourself a human being. Like I say, if you cannot stand up for the future that the people, the men and women of Britain literally suffered so much and literally laid down their lives for the children. If you can't stand up for their rights to that future, because the future they've got now is permanent austerity. That's it. Permanent austerity. You're talking about an unrepayable permanent debt that Britain is paying how much interest on of the money that we had to borrow off the World Bank to bail out the criminal banks who are actually too big to prosecute. What? Do you think the people of World War II, the post-World War II Britain would have tolerated that? Being told that bankers were too big to prosecute, that basically rich people are too rich to prosecute. Do you think they would have tolerated it? Why? Why are the people of today tolerating it? How is it that people can tolerate this shite and yet get so angry about immigrants and Muslims who largely are doing nothing to us? You know, what are most of the Muslims doing against Britain apart from working hard, providing, helping us? You look at ISIS. Who is suffering from ISIS? Muslims are suffering from ISIS by majority. You think that, oh yeah, a bomb in Manchester, terrible event. How many people were injured by it? How many people by comparison are being actually injured and driven even to suicide by this economic terrorism through the corporations? And you think just because you can't see the guns and witness the poison, you think it isn't happening? Well, it is happening. People are dying. Funeral parlours are having a whale of the time. The profits. So much so, they're offering free burials for children. What disgusting... what disgusting filth! Oh, but no, judge me, because, oh, I'm overpassionate, you know, I'm too angry, oh, I'm full of hate. Really, am I? What is all this? Have I made this video because I hate people so much, or because I love the people of my nation so much, because I love the people of Earth so much, because I love the children of Earth so much, because I love my planet so much? I am sick to death of witnessing it being raped and trashed by a set of monstrous vampires and having to tolerate people making all kinds of excuses for them and coming at me with the hate to justify the excuses. One of my friends right now, she's in prison because she spoke out for children's rights to justice. That's it. That's all she did. She's not attacked anybody, not hurt anybody. Spoken out for children's rights for justice. Oh, where's the national concern for her? But, you know, make sure a Zionist supporter, oh, make sure they get full support. Let's make sure that even Newsnight gives him an interview. You do need to pay attention, people of Britain. You're going to have to get real. Because, like I say, it's coming. It's coming. Change is faster than you can even imagine. This 5G rollout that EU scientists and doctors, again, are saying they want a moratorium on before it gets established because of already the proven dangers. Oh, but no, it's going to be rolled out in Britain. It's untested. They don't know exactly what effects it's going to have on people. Except they do, because we already know from the 3 and 4G studies that it does damage trees, it damages plants, it damages insects, it damages birds, it damages us, and most of all, it damages our children. And it does raise the levels of infertility. You know, these are... Why do you think 250... EU scientists and doctors have signed a petition and presented it to the EU Parliament demanding a moratorium on 5G to prevent its rollout? And that's why suddenly the corporations, through the people, through organisations like Cambridge Analytica, in every single European nation you're witnessing this fascist far-right shite rising apparently to attack the very power, the only power actually left to successfully kick these fuckheads out of our lands and away from our children's lives. Because, yeah, shove it down your children's throats, people of Britain. That's what you voted for, wasn't it? To instantly be robbed of 20p in the pound, of every pound in your pocket, and less money for your NHS, and the right for our government to allow Monsanto crap to land straight on our children's plates in their school dinners and at home. Seriously? Are you that stupid? How much is the hate worth? How much was the few minutes of glory everybody felt who voted Brexit? How much was it worth? And how long are our children going to be paid for it? And how long are the good people of Britain going to be having to made slaves, literally, on behalf of it? And even under governance of a fucking government that has promised and pledged to scrap our human rights. And people wonder why I am upset, why I express some passion to witness the abominable tolerance for it all. Now, I'm not saying go out and riot and cause... No, because is that going to help the people needing cared for? Is that going to help the children bringing our country to riot? No. You stand up for your rights. You stand up for your children's rights. You stand up against this Monsanto crap. No, we do not want to be getting food from America. Actually, we want this whole Brexit thing looked at again, because we have solid lawful evidence that supports our suspicion that people were heavily manipulated by an alien organisation with insidious intent, criminal intent, to perverse the public's minds, to set their public thinking in perverse ways and fed them lies. No. You need to start getting real, people of Britain. Like I say, you need to start paying attention. And when you can stand up, because, you know, there is a divide in this world, there's only one divide in this world, and that is between the people who stand up for children's rights to a future worth living and those who don't, right? Those who, not only did they not bother to stand up for children's rights, they actively oppose them. So, you know, that's all I've got to say.